Hey guys, thanks for tuning into my video. Today we're doing a 12 foot by 20 foot broom finish concrete patio slab on the back side of this house. Now this is a new house. We're working for the builder here. He laid out the pad. He told us exactly where he wants the forms to go, so he's got it marked out on the foundation. He didn't want the slab centered on that door. He wanted it moved to the what is your right here on the screen a little bit. So that's why it's not quite centered on the door. This is a 4-inch thick pad. Now, if you're new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. I'll enter you into a drawing to win some free gear, the stuff, the hoodies, the t-shirts and stuff that we wear. Just make sure you put new sub down in the comments. That's how I pick the winners down there. Also, I'm going to make this into a full-blown training video on how to do a concrete patio slab inside the concrete underground. So I go into much more detail in there on how to do something like this. If you're thinking about maybe doing a patio slab at your house, or if you want to maybe start your own concrete business, you know, how to go about bidding these and obviously setting them up and pouring them and all the little details it takes to install a concrete patio slab is in those training videos in the concrete underground. So if you want to check that out, there's a link for that down below. Now for this is a 4-inch thick pad. We're going to put a mat of our fiberglass rebar in here. Plus, you know, I always add fiber mesh in the concrete for reinforcement too. It's pretty cheap reinforcement. So they batch that right in at the concrete plant. We go over mixed designs and stuff in the training videos, but just to give you an idea of the types of reinforcement we use. Now in Maine, we go through a lot of freeze and thaw cycles from, you know, December to March. So it's pretty cold. It can be below freezing for days and days on end, and then it can bump up a little bit above freezing for a while and then go back below. So we got to make sure we have a good gravel pad underneath all our concrete patios like this. And sometimes we'll even put 2 inches of styrofoam under them. This one, the builder didn't want the styrofoam, so he had that dirt all kind of dug out, put about 2 feet of this gravel in, compacted it, leveled it, and then we're putting the slab on top of it. And we're putting about a 7-inch step, so basically 1 step down from the house slab itself. We actually did the floor in the house the previous year, and you know, we've done floors for this builder forever. Now I'm just showing you the wire ties we're using to tie this rebar. This is the tool I'm using is called a yo-yo, and then you can buy these wire ties. They have loops on both ends. You just bend them around and twist them, and they tie the rebar together pretty tight. Now since this video, I bought a rebar tying gun with, you know, it's battery powered that ties twice as fast as what we're doing here. And that's in some of my newer videos for 2026. But that gun works really good. But we've done it like this for years, so you could buy these ties at Home Depot. And this is what the slab looks like when it's all formed up. You can see I put some iso strip foam up against the house. The slab slopes away from the building about 1.5 inches. And we're going to broom finish it. This is going to be 2 parts to this video, so make sure you subscribe if you want to see us finishing it. Now the finish is going to have, you know, we're going to pull a broom finish over it. Simple, basic patio finish, but we're also going to hand tool some joints in here. And then I'll show you how we float the surface out really tight to get a nice broom finish. All really good stuff, good finishing stuff in part 2 of the video. But right now, just, you know, Luke and I are just pouring this ourselves. This is the second pour of the day. So we went and poured a house floor. We left Darren there to power trowel that by himself. And then, you know, it was a really nice day out today. So Luke and I came up here to get this poured and broom finished. It's been raining a lot, so we're trying to fit a bunch of stuff in and get caught up on the schedule a little bit. Now, if you can't see in the video, I do have slab bolsters underneath that rebar holding it up off the ground 1.5 inches. You can kind of see them right here in the video if you look on the ground, but they do kind of blend in with the gravel pretty good. I would say that's about a 5.5, 6 slump. I probably asked the driver for a 6. And that's what he mixed it up to. That's a pretty good slump for a patio slab like this. Well, what I'm looking for is in the mix is just consistency, right? Like I want a good paste. I don't want the rocks separating from the cement paste. I want everything kind of mixed together really well. I want the concrete to be workable enough, but not so wet that it's going to weaken it. And this is pretty much the perfect mix here for a couple guys doing a patio slab. I also like setting the forms to grade, you know, and that seems pretty obvious, but a lot of guys don't. If you can screed right off the top of the forms, that makes everything a lot easier. Plus, it makes finishing easier too, instead of having the forms set up higher and maybe snapping a chalk line on them or something like that for grade. And then I also set that foam to grade that we put up against the foundation. You know, we had the laser set up, we snapped a chalk line on the foundation, then we glued that foam up. And I talk about why we use that and how we install it, what glue we use in the concrete underground. That stuff, all those little details are in stuff, the training videos like that. Right now we just want to get this poured. The sun's coming up. You can see this, the back part of this where we're going to finish up is in the shade still, but the sun's coming up over the trees. It's going to get really hot here today. We just want to make sure we stay ahead of the game here. And now we're just basically mag floating our edges, right? Getting our edges smooth. We want a pad, a smooth finish, not finish, but a smooth pad to go by when we screed the concrete. It just makes our lives a little bit easier when we screed. And the way we screed is the way we were taught, the way I was taught years ago. I taught Luke and Darren, the couple guys that work for me, but we just kick screed like this. So we'll, you know, I'm going off a wet pad up there by the house. Luke's going off the top of the form. And we just, the way we hold that screed and the kind of the way that we kick as we're moving backwards and how much we pull it, that's all calculated to make sure we're really accurate in how we screed this concrete. We don't want any humps or dips or anything like that. And you'll be able to see that when I bow float here shortly and later in the video. Plus, I'm also using a battery-operated vibrating bow float. This thing works really good for smoothing out the surface as you're bow floating, especially on concrete that's maybe a little bit stiffer, a little bit. It's starting to set up a little bit in the sun, maybe. So you'll get to see that vibrate and bow float here shortly. Now you can see Luke and I kind of did this in two sections, right? We poured out maybe 2/3 of it, got it screeded, moved the concrete truck ahead, and then made him wait a little bit. Now we're doing the last third of this. So remember, these guys are working for you. You're paying for the concrete. You get so much time per yard to get this dumped out. You know, usually it's 7 or 8 minutes a yard, which, you know, on a small slab like this isn't really that much. If this is, let's say this is 4 yards, they're basically giving you 28 minutes to get this thing poured out. And, you know, even for Luke and I, that's rushing it a little bit. So sometimes you just got to be aware that they might charge you a little extra if you take longer to get the concrete dumped out. Like, they expect you to be able to dump it out in a timely fashion, get their truck back to them so they can load it up, send it to somebody else. So you got to kind of respect that too. Now this is regular, just colored, regular gray concrete. We didn't put any color in it. And normally when this stuff cures out, what I call cure out and bleaches out, it turns fairly white. Like, it's not dark gray like this. It's a little bit whiter. Not as white as that door with the white trim and stuff, but it's really lightly colored, which is a good thing. You know, it's going to kind of reflect the sun and not get so hot you can't walk on it with bare feet in the middle of the summer. The darker it is, the hotter it's going to be to walk on or even sit on and enjoy. So a lot of people want dark colored concrete. I'd try to talk them out of it if I can, you know, for patios like this or even a pool deck. Now that type of screeding right there, that takes some practice and some getting used to be able to do it like Luke and I. We make it look kind of easy, but it's not. It takes a little bit of, there's a little bit of a learning curve to that. So if you want to just, if you're doing this for yourself, maybe you could just grab a screed, or you could use a 2x4 for a screed if it's really straight, and just kind of pull it back 3 or 4 times until you, what we call scored. and then stop, set back, and then do it that way. You don't have to kick the same way we do. So that's how we pour it and screed it right there. Now I'm going to bull float this in a second. And the bull float I'm using is fiberglass bull float, which those are really nice. We also use magnesium ones, and I do like the ones with the rounded edges like this. And then there's the battery operated like head unit to this. So that takes like a Milwaukee battery, and it has, you know, push button on and off, and then you like a dial, you can dial up the vibration to, you know, from slow to medium to high vibration depending on the concrete. Now I did these 2 passes here, and then you're going to see me touch the head unit and dial up the vibration right there a little bit higher for the rest of these passes. And then it's just a matter of moving it slow and steady over the concrete back and forth, and it fills it in. That also, you know, that also shows you how flat and smooth the concrete is. No dips, no humps under there. I could bull float either way. You know, I could go, guess I'm going east to west on the video like this. I could bull float it north-south too if I wanted to, just the way we screed. And that doesn't really matter, but for a lot of you guys, you're going to want to do it 90 degrees to the way you screed, kind of like the way I'm doing it right now. And that helps you to see if you do have any humps or dips in the concrete. The bull float's going to help, you know, maybe smooth them out a little bit, or, you know, you can go back in and fix something if it's really bad. So in part 2 of the finishing video, you know, we're going to lay out where the joints are going to be. We have a special tool we use to cut joints and to get the initial cut in on the joints, get them nice and straight. So you get to see the tool that we use for that. Plus, you know, we're going to get on this thing with what we call skids or stainless steel floats, so we can get right on the concrete, get it mag floated out. Plus, there's another way we float it out too with what we call a funny float. So there's all kinds of techniques that we use to finish concrete, even if it's this is what we call a basic broom finish. Like, this is one of the easier finishes for us to do versus maybe a stamp concrete finish. But there's a lot of skill that goes into getting a really nice broom finish versus one that's not so nice. There's a big difference between a nice broom finish and one that's too rough, and one that you're trying to now figure out what you can do because the broom looks too rough and it's even hard to walk on. So you'll get to see all that in part 2. But right now, that's kind of how you form up the pad, get it poured out, but your work's only half done. And you really got to know what you're doing from here, because the temperatures are like in the 80s already. This thing's going in the full sun. So from start to finish, when this thing starts to go here and you got to get on it, you might have 20 minutes to 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes to get this thing finished. That's how fast this concrete's going to set up before it starts getting too hard on you and you've lost it. So Luke's just he's kind of smoothing out the edges where you pick up the bull float. Now, another thing that does, when you pick that bull float up, it leaves like a little bit of a indentation, I guess you could call it, where you pick it up off the concrete. So you want to make sure you smooth that out. Otherwise, that'll kind of hold water when it rains. So that's why he's coming right behind me, and we're not waiting to do that later. We're getting everything what we call pre-finished or ready for finishing, because we're going to let this set up a little bit. You know, we'll give it probably 30-40 minutes, come back, check it. I'll show you how we check it in video number 2 to make sure it's ready to start finishing. Get our tools all washed up, get them loaded on the truck, and then get all the finishing tools out. So I'll have a couple other videos popping up here though to check you out, and one of them will be that finishing video, so part 2. So that's probably the most important one for you to check out if you're gonna maybe do something like this on your own. But also make sure you put new sub in the comments after you subscribe, And if you're thinking of doing something like this on your own, check out the Concrete Underground. Link for that's down below.